Hi there, this is Corey Huff with theabundantartist.com, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how WordPress, the internet, and open source software are changing the art business model. So before we get into fine art, I want to talk a little bit about the music industry because the fine art industry is following the music industry. Tom York on XFM magazine earlier in April of 2010 said it's only a matter of time before the music business completely folds. And now for those of you who don't know, the way the music business has worked for a long, long time is the record label has massive distribution with all of the retail outlets across the country. And the record label signs a musician, they get them distribution and get them on the radio and make them absolutely huge, but then they take the lion's share of the money. Most musicians make just a tiny fraction of each dollar that is sold on an album. Then what happened is Napster came along and people started downloading music illegally, and people weren't getting paid, the record labels weren't getting paid, and they started partnering with other companies to come up with legal ways to download music. And then you get iTunes and Amazon, Bandcamp, and other companies that make it really easy for a musician to get the distribution that they want without ever having to go through the record labels directly. So the record labels are having a really hard time. Their profits are tanking. So the average art commission, the average gallery commission on a piece of art that is sold is around 50%. 40 to 50% is the most common commission that most gallery owners will take from an artist when they sell their work. So what's going on now is the internet has made it so that artists can put their art online, sell prints online, even sell originals online. So there are tons of galleries springing up online, and the fine art business model is starting to go through the same thing that the music business model went through, which is all these online galleries are taking a much smaller cut of those sales, so the fine artist gets to make a lot more money from their prints, their giclées, and their original sales. And it seems like every week I get an email or a press release with a new online gallery that's opening. Okay, so let's talk about how the business model for artists can change. This is a graphic released by Edelman last year, a PR firm, and it represents Barack Obama's social media campaign from 2008. And you can see at the center there's a red circle, and that represents Barack Obama's website. And then you see around that red circle there are things like Twitter, Facebook, other social networks, email, YouTube, other blogs. So what happened is Barack Obama and his team would put information on the Barack Obama website, and that content would go from that website out to all these other channels, and people would interact with that content, whether it was videos, articles, tweets, other status updates, interact with that content on these other sites, and then go from there back to Barack Obama's website, sign up for his email list, or take some other action that they were trying to get people to do. He was able to leverage that into a mailing list in millions, and that, in a big part, that is what helped him win his campaign. So, a breakdown of artists who are currently having success online. This is a graphic that represents my Facebook fan page breakdown. So you can see that 53% of the fans of The Abundant Artist on Facebook are women between the ages of 35 and 54. And that's representative across a lot of different verticals. A lot of the artists who are having success online are female. And that's mostly due to the fact that women are better than men at social media. Unfortunately, most artists are still using sites like blogger.com to run their websites, but a few of them are moving over to WordPress and other open source platforms, and this is where we get into how WordPress is helping change the art business model. So there are a few really great contributions to the open source WordPress model that are helping artists do great stuff. The first one is Alex Rabe, the Next Gen Gallery. Next Gen Gallery creates a JavaScript gallery on your WordPress page that arranges your images in a grid system, and when you click on them, it brings up a little light box and makes the image bigger. It's great for viewing. It's not great for SEO and for organization of the page. It also loads a little bit slow, but it is a great plugin. It's free, and it's a great beginning solution. Another thing that I really like is the Apture plugin, and the miracle in July, a friend of mine named Michelle Anderson turned me on to Apture because she uses it on her website, The Miracle in July. And she uses Apture to embed video, images, and audio into her stories to make an interactive presentation rather than just a story that you read. And then there's Michael Fields up in the top right-hand corner. Michael is creating a plugin that will basically allow you to upload a bunch of images at one time to your WordPress gallery, arrange them into a grid gallery on your website, and give each one its own page and make them easily organized so that you basically turn any WordPress site into an awesome art gallery. He's not done with this plugin yet. He's still working on it. He's a professional painter and web developer, and we are working on getting a Kickstarter campaign together for him so that he can raise enough money to finish his plugin, because he's planning on releasing it as a free open source plugin to the community. Another great opportunity on WordPress, bottom right corner, is the Polaroid theme. It's a $45 premium plugin, but it works out really well. It's got a great gallery system. I really recommend it. And then up in the top left-hand corner is a example of a free theme called Portfolio Press. It's in the WordPress theme database. And that one was created by a guy that I met at WordCamp Portland this year. His name is Devin Bryce. Okay, so I want to show you some examples of some artists who I think are doing a pretty good job with putting their artwork online and connecting with people. This is lensartwork.com. You can see on the front page he's got his portfolio, and then if you click through to his portfolio, you'll see in the second screenshot on the bottom right that you can paginate through his pictures. Unfortunately, these are still built on Flash or JavaScript, and so each image doesn't have its own page just yet, but you can see that he's displaying it really beautifully, and he's on his way to getting his online organization together well. Here is another website built on WordPress called 10everydaypainters.com. They're using the Next Gen Gallery plugin, as you can see on the bottom right corner. This is great because there's 10 artists here, and each of these artists promote this website, so it gets a lot of concentrated promotion and marketing to one website, which then points people out to each artist on the page. It's a great idea. Then you can see Zach Reddy. This website was also built on WordPress, and you can see it's really beautiful. You can do some pretty amazing things with design with WordPress. So the way that the art business model really breaks down, and this is something that is so crucial and so important. Justin Kistner from a company called Web Trends wrote a blog post called An Army of Likeable Objects, the new Facebook marketing strategy. And basically in that article he explains that any piece of content on your website can become something that is likable by Facebook as long as it has a URL. So basically if you click on the like button on a page, then that lets Facebook know that you like that thing, and it puts that object into Facebook. And then other people can like it. And if you have your metadata set up correctly, anybody who likes any piece of yours from anywhere on the internet, you can then contact them and send them messages on Facebook. Absolutely huge opportunity for artists to get their stuff out there, because most artists have a body of work that includes anywhere from a few dozen to maybe a couple hundred pieces of work. So putting your images online just gives you an opportunity to get your pieces out there and let your art market itself for you. It's a really, really neat strategy, and it doesn't just apply to Facebook. It also applies to Twitter and Dig and other social media sites. And if you remember back to that Barack Obama model, you are pushing your content out to other social media sites, and then that content is bringing people back to your website, and then you are either capturing them on your mailing list, or selling them something, or doing or having them take some other action that you'd like. So it's important to make sure that your content, your images, and your recordings aren't locked down. Use things like Creative Commons to to allow people to share your content, and don't worry so much about watermarking and copyrighting your images. Here's some examples of some artists who I think are doing some really great stuff online. These artists are not using WordPress, with the exception of Natasha Westcoat up there in the top left. I believe she's using WordPress as the front end for her main page, but her shop is built on something else. Um, so I don't think that WordPress is changing the art world because of the underlying technology, though the underlying technology is incredible. I think it's changing the art world because of the idea that it's built on. It's built on the idea that information on the web wants to be easily exchanged and wants to be free. It's an ecosystem that gatekeepers cannot maintain. Gallery owners and museums that formerly thrived on scarcity, on controlling which artists get access to distribution, those business models are going to go away. It's an ecosystem of content curation, and the successful curators and gallery owners who can show artists that they can bring them distribution and get out of the way of the interaction between the artist and the fan, those gallery owners are going to have a lot of success, and the artists who participate in that kind of system are going to have a lot of success. Thank you very much. Feel free to contact me on Twitter or through my website. Please feel free to share this presentation anywhere on the web that you like.